What's the story, Morning Glory? What's the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, Season 9, Episode 16, Boy That Escalated Quickly. Let's talk about Evelina and the rest of the Florida crew. So, Evelina and her husband, Andre, are in Jovi and Yara's room because they're getting ready to go out for drinks with Lauren and Alexi. But for whatever reason, Lauren and Alexi were purposely not invited. They didn't get the memo. Who the hell knows? But it's just the two couples right now in the room. So Elizabeth and Yara are in the bathroom, and Elizabeth tells Yara that the two of them are better friends and that they click better, they vibe better, they have no drama between them. She's basically throwing Lauren under the bus, trying to imply that Lauren is the troublemaker, Lauren is the one with all the drama, and that the two of them just have a much better, peaceful relationship. So Yara was like, hold on, pump your brakes. I like Lauren too. And I think Lauren is also a good friend. So when Elizabeth sees that this isn't going exactly where she wants it to go, because she wants her and Yara to team up against Lauren, and when she sees that Yara is not taking the bait for that, she decides to hit a little bit stronger. So then she goes on and tells Yara that Lauren has been talking crap about her behind her back. She said that Lauren said Miami got to Yara's head and that she really changed when she came to Miami, and that Lauren has also made really nasty comments about how she dresses and her appearance, I guess. Elizabeth says that she tells Yara, you need to be real careful around Lauren. And Yara says, Lauren has always been, wonderful to me. She's been great to me. She's always saying really complimentary things to me, making me feel really good. Now, what Yara should have said when Elizabeth told her all of that information, what Lauren allegedly said about Yara, Yara should have looked Elizabeth dead in her face and said, and what did you say? When Lauren was talking crap about me behind my back about how I dress and how I've changed since I've moved to Miami, what did you say? What was your response? What was your contribution to that conversation? That's what Yara should have said, because people who want to come off as, I'm being a friend to you, I'm being, I'm on your side, I'm on your team because I'm telling you what people are saying about you, you need to question. And when my enemies were talking about me, what were you saying? So it's very obvious that Elizabeth now wants to stir the pot between Yara and Lauren because she knows that she's in the wrong. She was in the wrong when she had brought up the whole body shaming thing at Yara's launch party, when she had exposed to everybody what the conversations that her and Lauren were having in confidence. She just blabbered it out to everybody that, Lauren's husband body shames her. She knows that she was wrong for saying that. She still doesn't want to take any accountability for saying that, for betraying Lauren's trust. She still wants to play stupid and act like she didn't do anything wrong. So now, with all this heat on her and her looking like the villain, which she is, because she's proven it with what's going on here with Yara, and because she doesn't want to look like a villain, now she thinks that she's going to shift the heat or put someone else in the hot seat, and that person is going to be Lauren, by telling Yara all these things that Lauren allegedly said about her. Elizabeth is extremely insecure, and more than that, she's extremely immature, because a grown woman would not do that. If Lauren is not a good friend and she's talking crap about Yara, all of this is going to come out eventually. Yara will figure it out on her own, whether or not her friendship with Lauren is true or not. You don't have to make up things. You don't have to, once again, if Lauren actually said these things and it is true, then once again, you are betraying Lauren's confidence by telling people things that Lauren told you, in confidentiality. And also, you're still not learning your lesson, but you're so hell bent on making someone else look bad because you feel crappy about yourself, that you're just throwing common sense completely out the window, not even realizing that you're making the same mistake once again. So everybody, and I'm praying that Yara sees through this, but I don't know if Yara, can see that Elizabeth is doing this just to shift the blame on someone else and to take it off of her. So they all get to the bar. Everybody shows up and they're taking shots with the other patrons in the bar. And then when everything finally calms down, Elizabeth makes it a point to tell Lauren that her and Andre were with Jovi and Yara, and that they had already taken tequila shots earlier in Jovi and Yara's room. And she did this on purpose to make Lauren feel excluded, to make her feel left out. And that's a very mean girl thing to do. Very mean girl, and extremely, once again, immature. So Lauren was like, "Oh, we didn't get the memo that everybody was meeting up, before coming here to take shots. We didn't know anything about that." And I think Elizabeth was like, "Oh, blame it on Jovi or something like that." Shifting the blame on somebody else. I'm pretty sure it was her that told everybody else, "Hey, let's go up to y'all's room and have some shots before we go to the party." I'm pretty sure Elizabeth orchestrated that whole entire thing. So, Elizabeth, like I said, she's acting very mean girl. Alexi wants to kind of clear the tension between Lauren and Elizabeth. I think that's what he was trying to do because he brings up the big fight that happened at Yara's launch party and says that Elizabeth had started everything when she brought up the whole body shaming thing. Now, I feel like Alexi, if he's mad at Elizabeth, he has every right, obviously, to be mad at Elizabeth because, there's beef between her and his wife, and the fact that he said, she exposed to everybody that Lauren had complained that her husband had issues with her image, with how she looked. I don't know if that's true or not. Who the hell knows? But Alexia has every right to be upset with Elizabeth and to, hash it out with her. So he tells her, "You're the one that brought up the whole body shaming thing." Elizabeth then tries to defend herself and say, "Well, I felt, attacked, or I felt whatever when I found out that Lauren called my husband horrible or called him a dick or whatever. I felt bad about that." So she's being very defensive, not taking any accountability at all. Whenever that's brought up, she wants to deflect and talk about things that other people have done. It's like, no, girl, we're talking about you and what you said and how you betrayed your friend's confidence by telling everybody that her husband body shamed her. What say you to that? So Yara and Jovi are sitting at their own little table. They're away from the other two couples, but they're sitting at their own little table having nachos. And Yara tells her husband Jovi that Elizabeth has been talking crap about her behind her back to that sorry she tells Jovi that Lauren has been talking crap about her, that Elizabeth told her, "Hey, Lauren has been talking crap about you, about how you look and your clothes and your fashion, this, that, and the third." And Jovi was like, "Well, you're going to have to address that. You're going to need to address that." Back at the table with the other two couples, at some point the whole housewarming thing comes up, the housewarming party, and Lauren's friend Noga and what she said and the fight between Noga and Andre. I don't know why they're going back in time. Like, that is really old news. That was like episode 1. It's like 16 weeks ago, but for whatever reason they bring that up. So finally, Lauren and Andre are able to apologize to each other. Andre apologizes for his behavior at the housewarming party, and Lauren apologizes for whatever she thinks she did wrong to them. So they apologize to each other, and they apologize. That's just the bottom line. And so after that, Lauren actually gets up out of her seat, walks over to Elizabeth, and gives her a hug and starts to cry. And she's talking about, "I missed you so much and I'm so sorry." And Elizabeth is comforting her and rubbing her back and stuff and telling her, "It's okay, Lauren. I think the tequila got to you. I understand. It's okay. You don't have to cry." Okay. So I don't know if this, Jovi and Yara witnessing this reconciliation kind of got Jovi even a little bit more amped up, but he was like, "You need to address this. You need to address this tonight." He was telling Yara, either you're going to address this or you're just going to be that person that lets people talk about you and walk all over you. So what's it going to be? Anyway, Jovi takes matters into his own hands, and he actually pulls Lauren away from the group and tells her, "Hey, let's the three of us have a conversation." So Jovi, Yara, and Lauren step away from the others and they address what needs to be addressed. So, um, and I feel like the reason why Jovi was so insistent on Yara confronting Lauren, I think it's because Jovi feels like, "Hey, I got in trouble for talking about Yara's looks. So it's not fair that somebody else gets away with it." So yeah, Lauren needs to be punished, or she needs to be held accountable for her talking about Yara's looks because I went through it and someone else needs to go through it as well. Jovi starts the conversation off by saying, "Hey, Lauren, Elizabeth told me that some things were said and we need to address it, whatever." So Yara takes over and says, "Yeah, Elizabeth told me that you've been talking crap about me, that you said that Miami has gotten to my head, that you talk about my fashion, you make fun of me. And I thought we were friends. I thought we were better than that. Of course, Lauren denies it. She's like, oh my God, I can't believe she said that. No, 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 no. It's not like that at all. I do talk about your fashion. And I basically told her that I can never pull that off. I don't have the body like you do. You have a beautiful body and you know how to dress and your makeup is always on point. So I was just telling her from a point of view of like someone who's really jealous of you. That's what it was all about. I'm jealous of you, Yara, because your fashion is just so on point and your makeup, da, da, da. So it was coming from that point of view. It wasn't coming from being mean. It's basically, I was just being jealous. I don't know if what Lauren is saying is true or not, but I am more inclined to believe that when Lauren and Elizabeth get together and talk about Yara's fashion, it's not coming. They probably are jealous because, Yara is a very attractive woman. I'm pretty sure that they are jealous, but it wasn't like, oh, golly, I'm just so jealous of Yara because she's just so beautiful and I just love her fashion. I don't think it's coming from that point of view. I'm thinking they're looking at her and they're like, look at her. Who the hell does she think she is? Look at her strutting around like she's on America's Next Top Model, like she's some supermodel, like she's walking down the runway and she ain't nowhere near being anything like a supermodel, but she thinks that's how they were talking about her. Definitely jealous, but it wasn't like it wasn't not in like admiration. It was in picking her apart. That's how the conversation really went, if you ask me. Okay, so she, like I said, she denied it. She said she even goes as far as to say that, Yara, I'm inspired by your fashion. You make me want to be more fashionable. You make me want to put on my makeup every time I go out. I'm inspired by you. So Yara also adds, well, she also told me that you said that Miami has changed me. And Lauren's like, yeah, I did say that. It did change you. It changed you for the better. Lauren can think on her feet, y'all. Lauren can kind of think on her feet. I got to give her that. She's like, yeah, it changed you for the better. If you were saying all of these wonderful things, then why in the hell did Elizabeth feel inclined to tell Yara, that girl's talking crap about you? She's not your friend. If you were just raving on and on and on about how beautiful she was and how you feel so inspired by her, and she's encouraging you to put on your makeup, she's encouraged you to step up your game. Like, come on, Lauren. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, Miami changed you for the better. Lauren says, that's when she tells her, I'm actually jealous of you. And Yara in her confessional says, I don't know who the hell to believe, but I'm just tired of all the fighting and all the bickering. So while they're in the middle of this conversation with Lauren, Yara looks at her husband. She's like, I just want to go. And Joey was like, okay, let's go. So they grabbed their coats and they left. They just left her there. They just left her there like high and dry. Lauren goes back to the other couple and her husband, and she grabs her stuff, and Alexi's looking at her like, what the hell, we're leaving? And Lauren is like, yeah, I just want to leave. So they get their stuff and they also abruptly leave, and Andre was confused. He's like, what the hell, what's going on? Everybody left, and Elizabeth is just sitting there sipping her evil little drink, because her evil work is done for the day, acting like, she has no idea what's going on. Andrea is definitely confused because I don't think Elizabeth told Andre what she told Yara in the bathroom, how Lauren was talking behind her back. I don't know if Andre was privy to any of that. So Andre, I think, rightfully was confused. And the way Elizabeth was sitting there, just kind of like looking at the destruction that she left, it just made me sick. I never thought that Elizabeth had this in her. And I wish that Lauren would have confronted Elizabeth right then and there and would have been like, you know what, girl, I'm done with you. Because in her confessional, she talked about how she's completely done with Elizabeth. Now, you should have been done with her and stayed done with her. The hug, the apologies, the I'm sorries, that should never have happened again. But whatever. So now you see how Elizabeth moves, okay? And let this be the end of it. Let this be the end of your relationship with Elizabeth, Lauren. But I wish that she would have confronted her right then and there. I know the confrontation is coming at some point. If not within the season, then definitely at the reunion. But I wish she would have said something to her right then and there because I really wanted to see what Elizabeth had to say. But Elizabeth knew. She knew that that was what was going on between her and Yara, between Lauren and Yara. She knew that was the conversation that they were having. She knew that. I never knew that Elizabeth had this in her. And like I said, I've always thought Lauren was the most annoying person I've ever seen. But For Elizabeth to make me actually like Lauren and feel sympathy for her, that just shows you how evil Elizabeth is. Absolutely unbelievable. I can't believe that she would do something like this. So immature. So immature. I don't know if Andre is rubbing off on her. I don't know if this is how she always was. Maybe she grew up with, maybe jealousy has always been within her because maybe she's been always jealous of her sisters. So she's always jealous of other women. I don't know what's going on, but I can't believe that Elizabeth would go this low, knowing that she was the one in the wrong to begin with. That she would go this far to try to make someone else feel worse than the way she feels about herself. Moving on to Jasmine. Okay, so Jasmine. Matt buys a tow truck. And okay, so Jasmine is like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you buying this? And he tells her, look, I need a little side hustle. We need more money. We need more income. So I'm going to be towing cars, whatever. She asked him how much did it cost. He said that the truck cost him $150,000. She's like, you spend $150,000 on something that you don't even know how to use. Like, what's going on? You've never taken a class. You don't know how to operate this thing. He tries to show her that he knows how to use it, but he doesn't. So she's really upset about that. And then she talks about how he always has these, grand ideas, but they never really come into fruition. It's just, wishful thinking on his part. And she feels like he wasted his money on this damn tow truck. He tries to explain to her that me being a tow truck driver is great because I can make my own hours, work whenever I want to. If you need me, I can come home and tend to you and the baby. So this is a great idea. Who the hell knows and who cares? Moving on from that. It finally comes time for Jasmine to tell her mom what's been going on with her and Matt and the pregnancy. So she FaceTimes her mom and she tells her mom that she's been keeping something from her. And Jasmine tells us that what really is going to bother her is the disappointment that her mom is going to have in her. Not so much her mom getting upset. She doesn't care if her mom gets angry, but just the fact that her mom would be disappointed in her. So she starts off the conversation with her mom by saying that, mom, that I came here to America to be with Gino. We got married, and unfortunately, the marriage wasn't going very well. She talks about the issues, how Gino wasn't giving her any attention, wasn't giving her any affection, etc. Um, so she had suggested to Gino having an open marriage. And she said that Gino accepted it. Okay, she didn't talk about how she coerced him, but she talked about how Gino accepted the open marriage and that he gave her permission to go ahead and do it and to be with Matt, of course, completely skewing reality because that's not exactly how it went down. Everything that happened, it happened because she was basically like giving Gino no other option. It was like, hey, either we're gonna do this. I don't understand, and I've always said this. I don't understand why they never just got a divorce. Why divorce was not on the table for them. Someone in my comments has said that the divorce would have messed up her immigration, but I don't think it would have because I don't think that the government would want people to stay in abusive or toxic relationships for a green card. It's like, yes, maybe things were great in the beginning, but relationships can fail and go south. And no one should be expected to stay in a situation where it's not healthy. So I'm pretty sure there's protection in place for the immigrant that if they can't be with their American spouse and they have to go through a divorce because the relationship is that bad, I think the immigration laws will still protect the immigrant and protect their status here. That's what I think, but I don't know. So she tells her mom that Gino was cool with her having a little boyfriend on the side, and that boyfriend happens to be Matt. And so the mom asks, well, why didn't you just get a divorce? If everyone is so damn unhappy, why did you just get a divorce? Y'all were not living together. You're with another guy. You have a whole boyfriend over here that you're living with. Why don't y'all just get a divorce? I don't give a damn who files first. Either he does or and when I ask the question, why didn't I'm asking both of them, not just Jasmine. I'm asking both of them. Y'all are so miserable, so unhappy, always arguing, nobody's satisfied. Get a divorce. But that's not what they wanted to do. So the mom asked, why didn't you just get a divorce? And she said that she wanted to save her marriage. There was nothing to save. You were falling in love with another man, or you were giving your time and attention to a whole nother man, giving your body to a whole nother man. How is that saving your marriage? That's another question that I was asking ever since I was watching The Last Resort. How is you being with another man, sleeping with a whole nother man, how is that fixing your marriage? I don't understand. I didn't understand how that was going to fix your marriage, especially when Gino didn't have a girlfriend at the time. How is this fixing your marriage? You come back from Matt's house and Gino's supposed to be more attracted to you and wanting to be with you when he couldn't even be with you before you even had a boyfriend. So she said that she wanted to save her marriage. She tells her mom that that Matt fell in love with her. She met Matt and Matt fell in love with her. She never talks about falling in love with Matt or loving Matt. It's always Matt falling in love with her. And then she ended up pregnant. So the mom asked her, how far along are you? Jasmine says, I'm 7 months pregnant. And the mom was like devastated. She was like, oh my God, Jasmine, I can't believe that you would hide your pregnancy from me. And Jasmine says that I was scared that you would be disappointed in me. So at that point, she introduces Matt to her mother. Matt comes to sit down next to her, and Matt was just, a goober. And he sits down next to Jasmine. Matt says, he tells her mother, I love Jasmine. I love her very much. And I don't mean to cause her any kind of harm. And the mom is just like, uh huh. The mother asks Matt, how could you involve yourself with a woman knowing that she's married? And Matt says, he tells because, Jasmine is translating, right? So he says, I was single, I had nothing else to do. And Jasmine really didn't like that answer. So she cleaned it up for her mom. And she tells her mom, he got involved with me because he was having feelings for me. Because she couldn't bring herself to tell her mom that Matt just said he got involved with me because he was single and bored. So the mom asks Matt, what are your plans for the baby? And he was just like, well, I don't really know because I've never experienced anything like this before. Jasmine didn't like that answer either. So the mom says that, she feels really sad because she feels like Jasmine is alone in this. And Jasmine starts to cry. She starts to cry because Jasmine herself had even said that she felt alone in this whole situation, which I'm not understanding why, because Matt is like going above and beyond trying to be there for her. So I didn't understand why Jasmine felt alone. I can see why her mom thinks that Jasmine is alone in this, but I don't know why Jasmine feels the same way. So the mother said, so then Jasmine asks her mother for forgiveness, and her mom says that hopefully whether in America or in Panama, the two of us will be able to be back together again. We'll be able to reunite. And it was very, very sad when they brought in the mother. Just really sad. And I have to remind myself, we all make mistakes in our lives. We all make decisions that we wish that we wouldn't have made, that we feel like, we could have been using our brain a little bit better. We've all been through that. No one's perfect. No one's perfect. And Jasmine making the decision that she made to be with Matt and then get pregnant by Matt, and all, it's a very crazy situation. Very crazy situation. So we can't be, or I cannot be too much on my high horse and be like, well, they should have done this and they should have done that, because we've all done things in our lives where we're like, man, that was a very bonehead mistake that I made. That was a very dumb decision that I made, and I should have, dealt with that a little bit better. We've all been there. Moving on to Darcy and Georgie. So finally, they're in New York for this damn fashion show. So it's New York Fashion Week. Darcy and Stacey are going to be walking down the runway to showcase their brand. And yeah, so it happens. They're there. Now remember, last week, Darcy and Georgie were in a fight, and they were in a fight on their way to New York because I don't even know exactly what's going on between these two people. Georgie and Darcy were arguing about him hiding his money, him in this damn apartment that he wants to rent or buy in Bulgaria. Um, I don't know. He thinks that she's too controlling. I don't know what's going on. They're arguing about nothing, just about nonsense. Because, like I said, in real time, they are on TikTok together all the time, begging for galaxies or battling or whatever the hell they do on TikTok Live to try to get money from people. So they get to New York, they walk the runway. They did an okay job, I guess. And Darcy did good, even though she was really stressed out about Georgie and their fight. She handled it like a professional. So she didn't like how Georgie said after the whole runway thing. Um, she was talking to her sister, and she was telling Stacy that she didn't like how Georgie said he was wasting his best years with her. But that's what Darcy said to him. Like, I didn't understand why she was so upset about that. That's exactly what he just took her words and used it against her. That's what she said to him, that she was wasting her best years with him. But anyways, moving on. They're back at the hotel now. Darcy wants to talk about their problems again. So they're in the bed drinking champagne, and Georgie's just staring into his champagne glass because he thinks he sees a hair in the glass. And Darcy's trying to talk about their problems. She's trying to talk about how she's feeling, laying her heart out, and he's just staring at this damn glass looking for this hair. So she feels very disrespected. She feels like he's not paying attention. She's like, this is what I'm talking about. You're always so dismissive of me. You always ignore me. They begin to argue. I don't even know what the hell they're arguing about. She's arguing about him hiding his money, that he's not really present in the marriage. He's arguing about how she's so controlling. He can't do anything. He can't breathe without her telling him how to breathe, how many breaths to take. And he's just so sick and tired of her being controlling. She's sick and tired of him hiding his money. And I don't know what the hell they're arguing about. All I know is that they're constantly begging for money on TikTok. I don't know what to tell you. Julia and Brandon are getting ready for their trip, so they left for Europe. Now, one thing that I did want to mention real quick before I go is Tiger Lily and Adnan. I noticed that Tiger Lily and Adnan have not been featured for a while. And I came across some videos on TikTok, I think it was, where people were saying that Tiger Lily and Adnan have been cut from 90 Day Fiance, Happily Ever After, that their scenes are not going to be shown anymore because Adnan, and I think Tiger Lily also, had said some pretty racist, anti Semitic things online. And I read someone had screenshot one of his, I think it was, I don't know if it was on Twitter, I think it was on Instagram. He had written something that was very anti-Semitic. And so because of that, it seems like the rumor is, no one knows for sure, but the rumor is that they have been cut from season 9 of Happily Ever After, that they're no longer going to be showing their journey because of that. That's what I heard, and that could explain why we haven't seen them in a very long time. So yeah, we'll see what happens at the reunion. Anyways, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video. If you do like the content that I'm bringing you, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, and I will definitely talk to you later. Bye.